Mars, according to many, is the only place in the solar system where it's possible for life to become multiplanetarian. Whether Mars is habitable or not has turned out to be one of the most prominent questions everyone wants to know, and it has been revolving around the world of space. NASA is on a voyage and is determined to unravel the mysteries Mars has concealed. In this video, we'll bring you the unbelievable findings NASA has come up with. Organic molecules. In September 2022, the Perseverance rover shocked scientists when it discovered organic molecules near ancient water sources on Mars. What was intriguing is that it was found in front of a merger of lakes and rivers, which is known for catering to favourable conditions for life. Its location was near the Jezero crater, which is 45 kilometres in diameter. The delta on which the organic molecules were found was formed about 3.5 billion years ago, and after the surroundings dried up, it collected sand, dirt and salts over time. Perseverance collected the largest amount of organic molecules from the Martian surface with the help of the Sherlock instrument, which helps it to identify and differentiate between organic and chemical molecules by scanning them. Hydrogen-linked carbon atoms were also identified, and it is well known that carbon is a vital building block for living organisms. The organic molecules were intertwined with sulfates, and on the Earth's surface it has been studied that sulfate deposits have been shown to preserve organic matter and often display signs of life, though there are possibilities that those deposits are formed through natural processes, and it can be determined more accurately once the samples reach Earth. Presence of high-level methane. The Curiosity rover recently detected a very high amount of methane on the surface, which is 21 parts per billion by volume. This came as a great surprise because usually methane is formed from the emissions of living organisms, better known as methanogens. So, researchers are now putting in efforts to try and discover the source of the methane. If it was emitted quite a long time ago, then it would have already broken down into smaller compounds. But there are certain possibilities that methane is produced from the interaction of rocks and water. Moxie. The small toaster-like device was sent on board along with the Perseverance. Moxie is a 3D printed device made from a nickel-based heat-resistant alloy. It also includes a lightweight air gel for better heat retention and reflects infrared radiation thanks to its thin gold plating. This astounding device can produce pure oxygen from carbon dioxide and release the byproduct into the atmosphere by withstanding a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius. Moxie can produce 10 grams of oxygen per hour, but when tested it produced 5.4 grams, which can allow an astronaut to breathe for 10 minutes. The device is valuable as 96% of the air on Mars is carbon dioxide, and thus the raw material for generating oxygen is quite abundant. The cold core. Mars was considered to be a planet that was geologically dead. The largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus, present on the surface of Mars, could be seen through an amateur telescope. Volcanic eruptions had stopped a long time ago, and after that the interior part of the planet Mars cooled and turned into a solid. This resulted in the weakening of the magnetic field around the planet, which was the main reason behind the atmosphere being blown up by the solar winds. The remaining water resultantly froze within no time. Activity on Mars. Recently, when studies were done about the planet Mars through thousands of images of the equatorial region of the planet, it could be seen that the changes on the surface of the planet are more active than ever. The images were taken between 2006 and 2020, a period of more than a decade, as an outcome of the NASA Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. The high-rise camera took the images from an altitude of 300 kilometers above the surface. The images gave access to distinguish individual objects up to 1 meter after scaling them. From the studies, it is found that there is a large number of landslides and debris which continues flowing on the slopes of the volcanoes of Mars. More than 4,500 traces of rocks were discovered, which have left patterns in the shape of a Christmas tree, which according to experts is the result of severe earthquakes. The longest pattern is 2.4 kilometers long, and in total these traces are around 900 kilometers long. From the traces seen, around 1,500 of them were not present before 2006. This meant that they were formed later after more severe movement of the tectonic plates of Mars. This phenomenon indicated powerful tremors under the surface, but recently there were no tremors found inside the surface of Mars. The Seismic Experiment. It was 2018 when a spacecraft started to track all the movements and tremors on the surface of Mars. It recorded more than 1,300 tremors, and when compared to Earth is nominal in number, as the seismometers on Earth record 500,000 to 1 million earthquakes per year. The tremors on Mars are also very faint on the Richter scale, which averages 3. The strongest tremor on Mars's surface was recorded in August 2021, which was 4.2 points in magnitude. The record broke when in May 2022 a 5-point tremor happened on the surface of the red planet. But this also was too weak, which if happened on Earth would only result in the rattling of windows and slight damage to the infrastructure. Well, the continuous tremors on the surface of Mars have stirred up a question. Is the core of Mars still not hard? Are microorganisms present on the surface? As the surface of Mars is very cold, full of harmful radiation, and has no liquid water molecules, we can be sure that larger organisms are not habituating on Mars, which can also be seen by powerful satellite imagery and telescopic observations. But what about microorganisms? We know that some of the microorganisms on the Earth's surface can lie in very harsh conditions. So there can be possibilities of colonies of microorganisms existing in the depth of the Martian surface, where it is warmer than the surface and less fatal radiations, which are in ample amounts on the surface, due to the absence of an atmosphere on Mars. On top of that, the discovery of lakes under the Martian surface excited scientists, as liquid water is indeed an indispensable, important ingredient for life, as studies suggest. Again, in 2018, the Mars Express spacecraft detected a large underground lake near the southern pole of the red planet, and also tertiary small water bodies beside it. The lake is spread over 75,000 square kilometers, which is greater than the country of the Czech Republic. The region is located in the Planum Australe, a large ice-covered plain. In October 2022, instruments on the ExoMars orbiter detected reserves of frozen or liquid water hidden inside the Valles Marineris Canyon, along the equator of the planet, which is situated within the top 3 feet of soil. These types of lakes have been found in the Antarctic region on Earth, and it has been found that the lakes contain microbes. Well, a possibility is there that this could also be the case for Mars, but the contradiction is that there is only a little amount of heat in these areas where water has said to be found. Also, if the water which was frozen were due to a large quantity of dissolved salt in it, which is around 20 times more than the Earth, microorganisms won't be able to survive. Scientists are extremely eager to find out about the composition of the water, and searches are also being done for the traces of microorganisms around dried up lakes and rivers of Mars, which used to flow before drying up. NASA and SpaceX have closely followed the developments going on Mars, and Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, has promised that astronauts will be on Martian land by 2029. For that, the testing of 14 Raptor engines of the Starship spacecraft is already being tested, which are also chosen for crewed landing on the lunar surface. And if everything goes as per plans, by 2025 or 2027, the Moon will witness astronauts landing as part of the Artemis 3 mission. By 2040, NASA has planned manned missions on Mars by spacecraft which will use the Moon as its refueling base. On their arrival on Martian land, most probably the equator, it is estimated that there will be sources of water that would be helpful for drinking, growing food crops and sustaining life there. When it comes to oxygen, Moxie will be of great help. In addition, Elon Musk has plans to refuel the rockets directly on Mars for the return trip to Earth. And he also wants to build a factory on Mars that will be producing methane and liquid oxygen. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe so that we can entertain you with more new videos.